What is up, YouTube? It's been a while, like 5 or 10 years or something in that range. I feel like I need to give everyone an update and let you know where I'm at and where I'm going. And I think the best way to do that is to kind of give you the chronological story of how we got to here from kind of the last significant powerlifting meet that I did in 2018, I guess we'll say. And I'll do my best to keep it candid and keep it concise, because there's obviously a lot of time that passed, and I don't want to take away from kind of what the message of the video is. 2018 was my best year as a competitive powerlifter. Went 9 for 9, finished with a 722.5 kilo total at 74 kilos body weight, and I won second best lifter of the competition that year, and that was before the winner of the competition tested positive for performance enhancing drugs. So I guess in hindsight I was technically the best lifter at nationals that year. And I was qualified to go to Worlds. I was excited to go to Worlds. I thought I could really, truly compete internationally. Probably for the first time being an open, honestly. I felt like I had enough of a squat and deadlift to go along with my bench to push for a podium shot, I thought. And the reality is my body was telling me to slow down, not to stop, but that I needed to kind of take a step back. And there was a lot of things going on in my life at that time. So I ended up withdrawing, but along with all this, and part of what my major struggle was, and why I figured my body was telling me to slow down and take a step off the gas, was my wife still hadn't moved out to Alberta. She was living back in Saskatchewan. We actually had just became pregnant and unfortunately lost the baby. It was something that I was obviously struggling with, and really it was just all this general stress, life stress of moving and training and working through the logistics of bringing my wife out here and figuring out what we're going to do with our house back home, and driving back and forth for doctor's appointments and things like that. I think it was just too much, to the point that I needed to take a break. I needed to remove the competitive aspect of lifting and just kind of do it because it's something that I love and something that I use as an escape for myself. And that took us into 2019. My wife had moved out here, and all things were well on that front. The opportunity came up to start playing competitive football again. So for anyone that doesn't know, my sporting history is football. Before I got into powerlifting, football was my everything. I loved football. I ate, slept, trained football. I played 4 years of university football up here in Canada. My university career didn't go the way that I had envisioned it to go. But ultimately, I was never satisfied with where my football career went. When the opportunity came up to play football again, I felt I had to prove something to myself. So I got into football in 2019, and the team I was playing for that year was an absolute train wreck, to be honest with you. I personally had a good season. I was pretty proud of how I played, given that I hadn't played football in 10 years or something like that at the time. I got back. It was great to play football, and it was time to kind of start powerlifting again. Was kind of where my head was at that point. So 2019 was a busy year. Got back into football, started my master's degree, and had a baby kind of all at the same time. Training obviously changed, and I had to find a way to kind of balance or manage all those things: work, a family, sleep, school, and training. It got to the point that I was basically back to where I was before, training significantly less, which in my mind was a win. I did nationals in 2020, like a week before COVID started. And it went okay. It was the first time I've ever lost at 74 in Canada. I deserved to lose. I was the second best lifter in the weight class that day for sure. So that meat ended with a 710 total. going 8 for 9. I missed my third deadlift, which would have basically tied my all-time PR total. But I did leave some weight on the platform, both in the squat and bench, and ultimately I think I probably had a PR total if I had played my attempts a bit differently. I had no football in 2020. 2021 rolls around, and I was the strongest I've ever been, especially in the squat and deadlift. I squatted 600 pounds, 272 in the gym. I had pulled 305, 672 or whatever that works out to in the conversion there, which are just massive PRs for me. Bench was right around all-time PR territory, and I was really enjoying training again. I was really ready to compete again. I was approached to play football for another season. In order to go back and play for my own, pride, I guess, if you will, I had to take on more responsibility within the team to get the team to the point that it was something that I wanted other people to be a part of and could be proud of. And ultimately that was the decision that I decided to make. Took on basically an acting president role for the organization, and we made huge strides as a team. We were super young, but we had a great culture, and we were competitive, and football was fun again, and it was everything that I had missed in my past football life, and it was a football future that I was able to provide for a lot of other people. I had a really good year that year. I led the league in rushing. I was a first-team All-Star. We were voted Organization of the Year for the strides we made as a team, and following the season, I was super excited to keep playing football. Around that same time, we welcomed our second baby into the world, so now we have 2 kids, and playing football, doing my MBA, running the football team, doing a professional career. I had a lot on my plate, and into 2022, I trained entirely for football. I put all of my time and effort and training into being the best football player that I could be, knowing that my career was at the tail end and I still had something to prove to myself. I'd kind of gone into the year thinking that if I could have one really good year, I think I'd prove everything that I needed to prove to myself. I was formally named president of the organization, so the season started out and it was awesome. I was leading the league in rushing again. Our team was tied for second place in the league, and all around the year was going awesome. Maybe this will be my exit from football. I've proven everything that I need to prove to myself, which is really all this endeavor was about. Things were going great. It was best it's ever been from a football perspective until I broke my leg. I shattered the fibula, cracked the tibia, tore some ligaments, had surgery, had a plate and 7 screws installed, and I am looking at 6 to 9 months recovery for a return to sport. As far as like managing swelling and kind of residual effects of the surgery, we're looking at like a year timeline. Just past 3 months right now. Ultimately, what happened is I did all my own rehab. I went into the process. There's probably 2 days or so where I laid on the couch in debilitating pain, feeling sorry for myself, wondering what the fuck did I get myself into. I got 2 little kids at home that I got to haul around. I'm non-weight bearing for 2 months, and I'm thinking like, man, what did I do, and what kind of decisions did I make here? But after a couple days, the reality is maybe I'm too old and too crippled officially to be playing football. I've really enjoyed training since getting hurt. And part of that is that I've never in my entire life been so excited and so proud, I guess, to squat an empty bar. It really gave me a different perspective on my training and why I love this sport. And I don't want to go through this again. Ultimately, I would. If I walked out of squat and my leg snapped, I would do this again to squat again. I don't think that's anything I'll ever be able to give up. and maybe I've got problems. But here we are, 3 months post-op, and I'm squatting over 400 pounds again. I'm deadlifting over 500 pounds again, closing back in on a 400-pound bench, and I will return to powerlifting for sure. There's not a question, a shadow of a doubt, that I will return to powerlifting. When and what that looks like, I'm not sure. I have to basically serve a 6-month probationary period after my membership is renewed, where I'm subject to drug testing, and then I'm allowed to return to the platform, which honestly is not really a big deal, because it's going to take me 6 months to be able to fairly compete again. And I think I do have some personal records left in me, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that challenge. Where powerlifting is now is 100% where I wish powerlifting was when I started. And that's fucking awesome. I volunteered at Westerns here a couple weeks ago, and I missed being at meets. I missed talking to people. I missed the competitive aspect of powerlifting. I miss everything about it. And I think all this time off and everything that I've had go on and are something that I think I can bring with me as an athlete now. I'm a couple weeks away here from officially being done my MBA, so that'll be one thing off my list. The kids are still not sleeping through the night, but they're a bit more self-sufficient. They will come and train with me and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm starting to kind of round a corner on some of this stuff, and I'm really excited to get back into powerlifting. Training and lifting weights and the gym environment and just everything about sport is something that has been such a passion for me since ever. And I can't imagine that ever being a thing that goes away. I do feel like there's some sort of void in that space for me where I have so much passion, so much energy, and so much, just pride for what all this means to people that I need to do something in that space. I don't really know what that is yet. I don't feel like I'm doing myself justice by walking away and just letting it be what it is. I think in a lot of ways I probably missed an opportunity to really be a part of that growth and ride that wave, but I think there's still just so much value that I can provide to that population, even if it's just a matter of like mentorship or I don't know what that looks like, and I want to find where I fit in this whole thing. I think there's value I can add. If nothing else, I hope that I'm able to push some of these younger guys that are putting up absolutely incredible numbers. That's part of the reason I want to come back is to compete with all these guys now, kind of be that old gray bush that pushes some of these young guys to numbers that honestly no one thought was possible. I will return to powerlifting. I will be on the platform in 2023 at some point. I can't compete at nationals. I'd be too crippled to do it justice anyways, so I'm hoping to be on the platform in the spring of 2023. We'll see what the numbers look like then. I think I can be respectable. Remains to be seen what respectable is these days, but I refuse to come back to the platform and be average. I think I can be better than average, and I think I can be better than I was. The thing that is just really challenging to me is I have a good job, but I'm not passionate about it. I fucking love lifting weights, and I want other people to feel that.
His backside is down on the bench. Easy.
That looks good to me!
It's a good lift.